Hello everybody, my name is Stefan. I'm on the iMoot team, looking after things a little bit, and I've got the very, very great pleasure to introduce to you Gareth Barnard. Lots of people will know him. I'm forever grateful for him, for creating the grid format, but he's also the maintainer of the Essential theme, the campus theme. He's linked to the Shoehorn, Shoelace, Mutant Banjo, notice board format, columns, and. So he really doesn't need any introduction. I'm really, really glad that he's decided to give us a little workshop on theme customization for beginners. I'm sure I will learn loads of things because I'm not a techie either, and I'm sure you will too. So I'll hand over to you, Gareth, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Stefan. Right, there's a bit of echo there, so what I'll do, no, you've gone. I'm going to turn my webcam because bandwidth and stuff, but hopefully you're all here. I'll keep an eye on the chat. There's going to be a lot to cover, so hopefully that's disappeared. Okay, so let's go in the cover. A little bit of trademarks, introduction. Have a think about what you'd like to be explained later, and you can see all those little things there. And essentially a little bit of introduction, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, getting your environment ready, using browser developed tools, about 5 different bits and bobs, and then where you can find help and progress from that. And I'm actually going to give you some homework, but it should be fun homework. And there is a badge. Do the homework, get a badge. I'm not going to tell you how to. So, live it first of all. What would you explain explain later? So that's me on the right. So while you're watching this, if there's anything you'd like explained, maybe I won't have time to show you, but something you'd want that you're not quite sure about, time permitting, I'll try and explain as much as I can. Note down the idea now, put in the chat later, please, and then in the tell me how to section. Okay, trademarks, very, very quickly, just this little legal slide, because we'll be doing this in bits and bobs, so just important that I am independent from them and nowhere speaking or endorsed by them. Okay, so it can be scary, customizing things. I'm going to show you how you can decipher a theme and make some basic alterations. As I said, you will need, I keep an eye on the chat as well. Okay, you will need test and installation. I did a lovely presentation last year on Route 2014. That's now all available on the course, links, lovely stuff. And you better run it on your netbook, on any sort of machine, run your own Moodle, and not worry and panicking your other techies into heart attacks and stuff like that, and have a good play. You can use core themes if you want, Shoelace as well. I will be running Moodle 2.9, but some of my themes go back a long way. You will need a little bit of knowledge from CSS. But don't worry if you're scared. The whole idea of having a development environment is that you can have a good play, muck it all up, chuck it out, start it again. And a little bit at the bottom there about me as well. Okay, I'm a sort of a mixed hybrid because I started off as a software engineer, went into teaching for 7 years, and now I'll come back to a software engineer. Okay, well, I've got 2 slides. I knew I got confused, so that's, well, right, okay, whoops. Let's try that again. Right, that was unexpected. Okay, the first thing you'll need is to have Theme Designer mode on, debugging, and a thing called URL swapping. I'll show that in a minute when I do screen share. Theme Designer mode, it really, really slows things down. It's great for creating themes, but certainly don't do it in a production environment. Because it breaks everything apart really slow. So only really worth it if you're using Moodle or just yourself. Debugging. Okay, Melly, I can answer that question later. If you just keep that in mind, I'll come back to that. Debugging, code your cohort. So if you make a mistake, boom. A really useful tool is URL swapping. So you can swap themes, and I'll be showing you how to do that. So if you muck up the theme that you're doing at the moment, you can go back to a core theme and get yourself out of a hole. Okay. Browser development tools. So these, all browsers have them. You press F12 and it pops up, or you right click on something, and it allows you to essentially on the fly change things and see how they're going to look, but the changes aren't persistent, so they won't stay there. They're only temporary until you actually put them into the things itself. You can work your way around the code, you can work yourself around the structure, you can think, oh, what is this going to do? What will this effect do? And you also see when things go wrong. And that's what we'll also show. So the first task, it will be a block border radius change, which you can see there to change that from a square to a circle. So bear with me, I'm going to start the screen share going. So kick in Java, I hope. Right, region. I just didn't want to do this immediately at the start because of bandwidth. Ding, 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 ding. Right. So all developers hum to themselves when they panic. Okay, hopefully you should see, please get it below. Yep, you could see a I think customization, for goodness, is just like a, in fact, Matthew, I'm running a Windows, and that's unit Linux running on a virtual machine, so multi-thingy. Okay, so that's a bit NAMI install of Noodle in a development environment, and I cover that in last year's presentation. It's a simpler basic course with labels, nothing really special about it, and it's a topics format. So, right, we want to use Shoelace, discover what to change, create a CSS, place it in the custom CSS box, and see the effect. So, first thing I want to do is that URL swapping now. At the moment, actually, I said I knew I'd show you, so on the site administration, is to set up those settings under appearance, themes, and I'll put this in a new window, theme settings, where you will find there's the designer mode, there's allow changes in URL, and I think the rest of the thoughts. So that's that set of settings. The other one you'll need for development environment is your debugging. Now I'm logged in as an admin here, so development environment admin really, that's what you need. So there we are, that's developer, level debugging, do display debug messages, a bit of performance information. Really good one, show page information. Okay, now we've got that set up and our environment. Let's go back to that border radius change. Now up here, you see it's got a question mark at the end there. That means that we can't use a question mark. We're going to concatenate our parameters in the URL together to change theme swapping. So we use an ampersand, and this is on the side, theme equals Shoelace, which I've already got installed in exactly the same way as you install any other theme, any other plugin. So that will chunter away. Hopefully you'll see that working. Like so, with any luck, need to feed the hamster in the computer. Bingo. And now that's now changed. So this is a complete version of Shoelace as you download it from Moodle.org, as I've already placed it on there. Okay, so here we've got sort of semi-rounded borders, but they're not. Maybe we want to make them 24 pixels. So we're going to use our browser development tools. So we can right-click and inspect element. And it'll be similar on Chrome, similar on IE, and so forth. It was something very similar. Now, you can see the code at the bottom, and like that. So we've got our main region. We've got, this is how it's all structured together. So there's our block region there, and we want to make our block regions, because there's a block region class there, to have that rounded border. So we click there, you see that administration expect element. We move up, there should be, so it's a whole block region, and we need to find, settings block there, and navigation that bit further down. So see there's a block. There we are, there's a bit of CSS, there's a block. And this is because we've got theme designer mode on, it tells you where it's coming from, and so forth. Okay, so that helps you debug, understand where that thing is defined, what file, and so forth. So theme designer mode breaks that all apart. So maybe you want to try, we want to put in our block border radius. So block there, we can type border. Oops. Radius. In fact, yeah, border radius for px 24 pixels. Press enter, and with any luck, yeah, there you are. It's on the screen, but it hasn't changed for real. It's only changed so we see it. So there's a good confirmation of what we have done. Okay, now with a lot of themes, they have a custom CSS box. Shoelace certainly does, Clean certainly does. Okay, so now we're going to note there that we need that border radius there within a block. So just change, copy this with Control C and go back to our named. This thing. Now that will transfer away, and we can put in that CSS. This is the most easiest. Hopefully nobody got sound. I'll stop. I won't talk when it refreshes. That might be. I have got a cable up going, but okay. I'll slow down a little bit. So. Okay, so remember we've got a dot block class. Paste, add a few spaces. Yeah, that might be my machine screen rush. So now if we save that, there we are. Then they're now permanent. Okay, so that's first little task. So we've done all of those 5 things and we've seen the effect. Our next one. Now, a lot of people think, oh no, I've got report layout. I want, I've got blocks and stuff on the different sort of sides and so forth. Real pain. Maybe I just want to have the dashboard, the breadcrumb, and nothing else. I can still manage that, but I can do without blocks and so forth. So on our core, all right, use that. So for example, if under reports an activity log, not every day, Cordo. Not this level of stuff. Okay, so there we want to eliminate the block on the left-hand side. Now, the way Moodle is structured with certain things is here's the Moodle installation, and we have a theme folder, and in there is our themes, and here's got Shoelace. Now what I'm about to do, okay Matthew, I will try and slow down. I'm not sure what I can do about that, but I'll do my best. There's links all in the presentation, sorry, in the course, and references and so forth, and all in the developer documentation at the end, which does that. Okay, thank you. So we're in our Shoelace, and each theme has a configuration file. Each one is subtly different, like that. Now it has loads of information on, okay, but a thing called layouts. Now, which layout do we want? We don't know. Luckily, Moodle will tell. So at the bottom, there's the page type, and general type is report. So that we can use to tell us. And also, there's another way. The body tag, I'll expand that, will tell us column and so forth. Not quite see that, but there's a class in there which tells us. Okay. So we want some columns on now. We see here base already put has columns 1 file with no regions and just the footer region. So if we make a copy of that and find the report, you can just replace it. Now luckily most things will have this, so you'll be able to look for the right bit, copy, paste, save. And if we refresh this, now we will find no blocks. Now that's done it for Shoelace, and so many things in my head. What about clean? So we can do the same. So if we go again, URL theme equals clean. These names, by the way, get them from these names here in the theme folder. Okay, so that's clean theme. Now, if we go to that, so go to our clean theme, open up the config. What we do that, we're looking at, think, oh, there's no layout files in here. What's this? What's going on? So it has a parent theme of Bootstrap base. So that tells us, we need to look at that. It does affect all reports, but yeah, it's good fun. Bootstrap base, config, and so forth. So where we are, there's the base with nothing in it. Do the same for report. Save that. And refresh. There we are. So that's done the work. So really quite straightforward. It's just a matter of examining the files and looking and making references. As I said, there's some really good stuff on Moodle Docs, which I've got a link to, which explains all these bits and bobs within the files. Pardon me. Okay, our next task. Okay, another thing you might want to do, you want to use your own icons. Ooh, yeah, maybe you don't like the news forum. Yeah, the icon that you've got. So let's go back to here. And we clean. We can change that there. Okay, if you need to move the screen share around and the presentation, please do, because I'm sort of referring to stuff on those screens. Okay, we've got the news forum there. And what we want to do, we want to find out, well, where's that icon from? From where in all this structure and thing, where on earth is that coming from? So what we want to do is right-click it, inspect that element. So this is the plugin. Now, you see in the URL there, it says theme, clean, component, forum, image is called icon. That tells us something. So it tells us the name of the actual file, that it's within the component of forum, and it's thing. Now we know that news is a module. So what we need to do is go back up to main Moodle installation. It's a module, forum. Yeah, and it's got a pics folder, and in there, see, there's the icon, like so. Now we want to replace that in the thing, but we don't replace it there because that's core stuff, and you don't want to be overwriting that. But that's given us an idea of what we need to do. Now, in best tradition, I've found another equal icon from Icon Finder, and we're going to use that instead of that icon. So to do that back theme, I go back to, yeah, we're in clean theme. I'm not doing this in Shoelace because I've already got it. And we create a new folder, and we're going to call this pics underscore contrib. Oh, not pics contrib plugins. Okay, now because there are plugins, even though this comes with core, it's still a plugin. Most things are. I'm going to demonstrate a core one in a minute. So in Pix plugins, a new folder. I'm going to call that mod for mod. And in there, a new folder, forum. And in there, we're going to place that people. We paste in there. Now remember, from here, it's actually called icon. Call that icon. So now the Moodle code will know where to find it within, if I've got that right. There we are. Hopefully, you can now see that that icon will be placed. Now if we go back to Shoelace, then it's the other one. So it's only an hour thing. We'll move back to that. And the other thing we want to do is alter the SVG files. Say, for instance, you want to make, our Dr. Block icon really more pronounced. So let's inspect that. And we find, oh, hang on, theme, clean, core within the core component. Do you think it's an image doc to doc? So now we really have to find that. So let's go to, oh, come on. Now in our X, because this is a core picture, T, and go, we find, right, one block to doc.svg, and I copy that. Go back to, I think it was too high up, back to our theme, done, clean. Now, because the core image, pics underscore core, into there. Now, remember, T folder, so we need one of those. See? Or you can paste that in, so that's the same one. Now SVGs are actually text, so we can do some really weird stuff with that. So we can open with text file. They look gobbledygook. We can find, there we are, path fill. So that's a boring old grey. Horrible. Let's make it blue. So red, green, blue. So 0, 0, 0, 0, or let's try BB. So that's our red, green, blue colour code, hex code. If you've got a paint program, you can use this. You can put in a colour. It should tell you in a like a colour dialog where you can find all these codes. And there's loads of good tools online for that. Save that. Go back. Okay, and now there is our dock to block icon. Lovely shade of blue. More pronounced. Bingo. Right, next slide. Okay, slightly pressively harder. So now we've got, this is sort of white, it's sort of so forth. Maybe we want to have something a little bit different. So in our shoelace thing, yep, okay, it's very white. Oh no, we want a bit of colour, so we maybe want to find out how to change things and make that sort of blue and sort of lighty on, as you see on the presentation. So now we've already got body lighted there, so we want to hold the whole background. And that maybe we want to make that. Look at my notes. Click in here. Maybe we want the background colour something different. Now if you use the American spelling, I'll put in there. I've already picked a colour. AAD7D. Turns a nice shade. Oh, quite like that. And maybe you want this central sections now. It's not really that readable. Maybe we want to do something a little bit different, a little bit faded, a little bit maybe transparent. And we can do that with a thing called RGBA codes, where the A means alpha. But we don't know what that sort of means. So we inspect element and browser development talk about everything you're looking at. So we scroll up main order, where we are. It's region main. We got an ID of read main. So there's nothing here for that, but we can try it. So if we try it in there, now this is where we put the decimal version of the comma. What have I got? 0.5. So here we explain this value. 255 is FF, so that's white. Red, green, blue, with a transparency value of 0.5. That should be 0.5, like that. So that goes between 0 and 1, like a probability number. So now, yep, that should have worked. Yep, nice little colour of that. So, but now we want to make it a little bit persistent. Okay, so instead of using custom CSS in the custom CSS box, maybe I want to show you a little bit more different. Maybe we're going to put it in the custom style sheet in the actual file itself, a little bit more progression. So go to our theme. We're on Shoelace and then style folder, because that's where all themes get their CSS files from. CSS, but not less files. Important thing. And in here is a custom one. It's just a text file. So there, we can put in there. And this little tricky down here is with custom CSS from the user interface, but don't worry. So we had two things. We had a body thing going on, and we had that region main thing going on. So body. I could have copy pasted this, but so I wanted AAB7FD, like so, just as we experimented with on the main page. Now for the quick twice, so we want to know about, yeah, let's region main. We can copy that back. That is an ID, not a class, so we need a hashtag, and we can use there, save the file. Now, because it's in theme designer mode, you do need to do a purge all caches, which is sometimes you see on the things on lot. We can just refresh. Right, so that has, it doesn't appear to have done anything, but aha, it has. Range main has now look at our start debug. Yeah, it is pulling it from the theme. It is pulling it from the custom style sheet, and even tells you the line number. Wonderful. We can look at the body tag. There we are. There's the background color. There, tells you exactly coming from there. Wonderful. Okay, next little bit more different-y stuff. Okay, block heading background color. Another one to go. So, okay, so you've got this, and we really want this to stand out in the navigation block. It's not quite as good as it could be. So, let's make it nice. So, if we inspect the navigation, we find that that's the whole, and then it's broken down into a header, and it doesn't seem to sort of cover the whole header at the top, which is a bit, well, odd. Oh, hang on a second, what's going on there? There must be some padding going on, you know, being better pixels to push things up. So we go back to there, we find that in our list there's a padding of 8 pixels, and yet here is wrong there. So if we color this, okay, with a nice theme color. Now for the minute, let's make it 00000. Now that's black. What I want is that yellow. So we can expect that, and we find there, where's the yellow, of course, yeah, here we are. I like that hex code. So we'll do it. Not quite. Yep. Okay, and oh, it doesn't look quite right. So there's something really going on. Ugh. You know, it's not doing our borders or anything. It's not pushed up as well. So we saw back on there that the padding was wrong. So padding top. We make that 0 pixels. That pushes things up. But it's sort of still not quite overlapping. But it's made that shrink a bit. So if we go back down here. Let's say we want padding top 4 pixels. Remember, it was 8 pixels, and 4 pixels, like so. Yep, so nice and big, but it's still wrapping. Now I want to do the top, hopefully border top. Yep. Left radius. All these are on the W3C site, Remember from before, I was 24 pixels. Copy that. Right. 24 pixels. Now you could copy that, nice that, and do the same as we did in the custom CSS, but we're going to be a little bit more dangerous this time. So let's take that. We're going to modify the less code. Okay, so is exactly more thing. It has inline built-in less compilation. And less is just a way of breaking down all of these files and so forth. And Shoelace inherit on Bootstrap base, and the following there, absolutely huge. Yeah, really, really big. Loads of stars in there, so really hard to understand. But you can break it down into its components, and that's what I've done in here. So Shoelace, I've broken it down in bits and bobs and some variables and stuff like that. So I'll put, yeah, there's Shoelace changes, custom, so forth. So if we edit the custom file, because that's what we're doing, in that, so Magnet's like a template which then gets converted by the software into the CSS. So a browser won't understand that. So if we put that in, so that's copied from there, that was on our, that's on our header class, the A. So that's in our header. That's our block header class. And this is where you can do something very, very clever. Now we look back on here, header within block navigation to that block class, and we want that padding to 0. So if we take that, so that applies to the block class. Header is within block, so this is what you can't do in CSS, but you can in this. Let's tidy that up because it's nice to have it all. That. So there's our header. So header within block, Control S to save. Now when we refresh, there we are, it's actually done it. So if you that sort of really phases you out, you could always do a little bit similar to what I do in CSS. That's just for this purpose of this is to show you just a different way that you can. There's references at the bottom of the presentation there. So now we find that that's come from the custom bit sheet from in there. We look in, oops, gone too far. Yeah, there's the header and there's the block there, and that's put in the padding top. That's come from the Shoelace custom less. Okay, last one, the most tricky. If I may, Andy, I'll answer the questions at the end. So please keep that in mind. Whoops. Block heading, where's happened to colour? Whoops. Aha! I knew there was a second bit to this. I've gone too far. That was the last one, but there's something else. Okay. So, okay, we've got that. And wouldn't it be nice if we could colour ourselves? I prepared this and then I've lost myself. So instead of having that fixed, changing the user interface, that to be sort of nice and stuff. Okay, so let's go back there. Yeah, the header. What if we could specify. I'm losing myself again. Yeah, there. What is it to specify instead of being hard coded there into the less file itself? Ha! We can use less for that. Ta-da! So going back to, oops. Right, let's go back. There's a variables shoelace file which we can define variables, things that can change. So if we open that up, I'm going to find a new variable in here called what have I called it? Block header color. Oops. Get the British spelling, doesn't matter here. And we can use that same one as the default. Okay, like so. Save that. Now that only defined it doesn't actually use it. And this is the beauty of less. We define it once and we can use that variable load up. Instead of it being specified there, we can make it there. Okay, now in CSS doesn't make any difference whatsoever, but here it does. Okay, so that's defined it, and that's still going to be the default, but we want a setting. We want to be able to change it with the user interface, make it lovely for our users to be able to do it and not have to worry and get it so we're scared with this. So, we want to change our settings. Now, luckily, Shoelace and Lens are some pre-canned settings. So here, the setting, and luckily there's a one color picker which allows you to pick colors. Well, we've got one for the navigation and stuff like that. So we can copy all that code and make use of it. I'm going to call this block header color setter. Block header color setting, and that's the name of the setting itself. Block header color, and it has some language strings which we also need to change. So we're going to put that in there. Those are these descriptions. So this is all of the language strings you see customized elsewhere. We put that into there. Now those aren't yet, but we still want the default. So in there, before we think we need to define those two language strings. Now, regardless of the language, or in English and British English for some reason. So in our language EN, and everything must be what we can find. There's no hold on that. Block header. Oops. Same thing. And the description. Okay. Okay, right. So nearly there. So that's sort of glued it all together, but still haven't. That's defined the setting, but we really use that yet. So now we have two things. We have the setting number, sorry, the setting name, and the name that we use, less. Now, luckily, because Shoelace is the same thing, more theme, we can do something really clever in there. In its libphp font, there is a special function there, and there you are. That tells you all about all of this here and how to do it. And some programs there, so we're just going to copy that code. That says if that setting does so. Our setting so that's the same in Moodle, and we want it to equal the same. Now, the setting name less is that. So we're gluing bits together. Okay, if all the variables that are used, that will overwrite that. Save it. Now this is the one time we do need to do our meshes. And that is because of those language strings. Okay. Okay, everybody still hear me? Please say yes in the chat because I noticed something on my computer blipped. Yep, great. Thank you very much indeed. So, brilliant. That's refreshing again. Glad you're all still. Yay. Okay, so now you can look at parents, themes. By doing all of that, look at put a new window just for this. So now, chugga, we should have come on, go. Let's pick. There's our block for that. Let's pick something. Oh, what's a ghastly colour? Let's make it. Oh, let's make it something you never pick. Maybe that's colour green, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, not quite that. Go down there. Save changes. And as if by magic, I'm going for time. Yeah, just right. Now, there is our lovely gross green. Ta-da. So that's all the tasks. Please don't worry if it's been really quick. If you complete the homework, which I'll cover in a minute, then I've made individual videos of all 5 of these tasks and the extra one of the theme designer mode, and I've uploaded them in FLV format and in XFID format. So you should have all of that. If by some weird thingy at the end that you still can't get any of them, drop me a line on that for course. I'll keep an eye on it and take it from there. Okay. Okay, good slide there. That tells you all about what we've covered about the tools. Firebug's another one for inspecting things. So if you can put the presentation in front of you, I won't be going back to it now. I had a beep in the air. Where to find help, developer tools, where you can progress, where you can get information from, where you can go beyond the basics of what I've shown you already today. Okay, so summarize, we've learned today how to set up the environment for theme development. Yeah, how to use browser development tools, how to do some basic customization in a progressive bit by bit, and also how to, you can really see there with the browser development tools, how you can experiment, change, do things. I will admit some of them aren't maybe as basic, but it gives you an idea and how you can take further. So, your little homework, use what you learnt, make a change of theme. I don't mind whether you just change one little bit, anything. Take a screenshot, do a little print screen. There's a good tool for that there. Then post a screenshot in the description with the presentation. I'm going to give you some feedback and something else, and by doing so you'll get a badge and access to all these wonderful videos for you lovely people. Okay, so now taking a question and answer feedback. Thank you very much all for bearing with this rather quite complicated presentation. Please do post in the chat.
Thank you so much, Gareth. That was really, really awesome. I've typed in the text that, you know, I can finally appreciate fully the kind of stuff people like you do with Moodle and other software projects all the time. And I think I've got an inkling how it works, but I've got so much respect for having the eye for detail, the grit to just keep going at it, and also to have a design mind and the skill to use code to actually put it into practice. That's brilliant. I've noted down 4 questions from the chat that I think we wanted to answer at the end. Let me start with Melanie. She asked, she had the problem, and correct me, Melanie, if I'm wrong, that the menus on her development 2.8 Moodle look different on 5.1. Perhaps you've got an idea why that might be.
I think the code for the menu system changed between Moodle 2.5 and 2.8. In the way it was structured, I'm not quite sure. A lot of good things to do. Themes forum is a good place to go. Even better, if you take a screenshot and explain it, the screenshot there, please post on Moodle All Themes Forum with a screenshot, and I'll do my best. Either there, Mary Evans, excellent on there. Richard Allman, also excellent. But I think, from what you're describing, I think it's something that's changed. I think you need to sort of explain with the screenshot a little bit more detail, please.
Okay, cool. And then I've got Mathieu. He wanted to know how to change course category icons. You showed us how to change the icons for activities, and he wanted to know how you would change course category icons. Okay, if you can all see my screen. I think exactly the same as we did the other ones. As we do, as far as I can remember. And you do all the other icons. I think it's a core icon as well. Hopefully that will come back in a moment. Stefan, I'll just meet you a second. Course category. Yep. Let's try site home. Hopefully. Yeah, we've still got about 15 minutes, or even 20 minutes for questions. Within the schedule. No, I haven't got them turned on. Essentially, when you see that, if you right-click, inspect element, course category icons will still expand. That one there's an information for that one. I still think course category icons are the same. Actually, let's see what we can do. I hate letting people down. So, what's front page settings? So is it possible? Chugga. Let's try list of categories. Combo list. I will get to as many questions as I possibly can. Okay, so site home. Same thing. No, I'm losing my mobile. Anyway, it is possible. Again, I believe the icons will be exactly the same way as before. Okay, next question, please. Andy asked what happens when a theme is updated and you've customized it.
Okay, very good question. If you've customized it, then often the odd changes will get overwritten. The best thing to do is actually have a child theme. in Essential, I've actually, within there's a subfolder called Essentials, which is a template for a chart theme, but it was a little bit more beyond what I've shown you here. However, good point. If you use the custom CSS box on the user interface, that goes in the database. So even when you upgrade the theme, those changes get kept. It's only if you change the files would you have to reapply your files, your changes to those files.
Okay, then we've got Ima in the chat, and she asked whether it's possible to add a fixed heading on the body block, for example, as a title.
Yeah, that's in the layout files. So in each thing which I didn't cover, in what layout files, remember, has report, columns 1, columns 2, that sort of thing. Excuse me. And so forth, they all have information. So, for example, our front page goes into PHP and say, what if, this is what you can see, it's a little connected. There's our header, on the body block. Now, the body, remember our region main there, section, blah, blah, blah. What if something like, what's this? Yeah, front page. H1, hello. You can hard code that in. A bit of HTML, save that. Hopefully. But you could always use a language string or anything like that, or any other bit of code from a bit of PHP or even out of the database. We'll progress that further. There we are. Hello, Emma. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, then Ali Reza has got a question in the chat. Perhaps you can read yourself. And
no, yeah, essentially, I'm really sorry for pronouncing your name. You told me the other day. With respect, really, really sorry about that. No, you can't do it with an individual. You have to do it for activities. Oh, activity for that instance, not for activities of that type. It has to be all activities of that type. So all forums, all assessments, that sort of thing, but not an individual instance. I don't think. Well, there might be a way. It's got me thinking. Oh, yeah, exactly, Nadav. Thank you. Well, I was thinking you might use a unique course ID. Let's just try that. That's why we've got a little minute. But, oh, tricky. Snag is that it's a CSS back. It's a page icon. If it was a background, and there's no doubt thinking we might be able to use like one course, that sort of thing, possibly. So actually a bit more tricky than it thinks. So you'd almost have to say, ooh, a bit of tinker, overwrite. Yeah, exactly. Mission Impossible thing tinkering. That a good question, actually. Pose that on the themes forum, actually. See if wonderful Mary and Richard and others will have a go at doing that. And I might have, when I get a moment, have a go as well.
I have a question myself. I realized, for example, that on the iMoot page, only when you switch editing on, you see the settings block. And if you have got it switched off, it's not available. Is this a theme setting or is this hard-coded? How does it work?
That's a cunning plan. All right. Body class. Yeah. On the body, Moodle adds in some wonderful things, and it tells you when things are happening. So if we're editing on there, hopefully, Checker. Okay, hopefully. Get some more coal. There should be. Yeah, there we are. Bingo. There is an editing class which gets appended to there. So, for example, we could go to our CSS and do something like custom. So, body. I know I'm doing this again. Body dots, and it was. Oh, let's do block admin. I think it was called. Block settings. Yeah, it's called block setting. That was unique class. So I think this is how it's been done. None. So that turns it off when you're editing. Now, because it's CSS, if you define something afterwards, now there's no space there because that class belongs to that tag. Let's try that at the moment. Element block computed. Somebody tells you what it is at the minute. So we want to know the value of the display. No, it's not there for some reason. Right. I'm going to take a random guess block. Save that. So now, when we refresh that, thank you, Nadav. What you see, it's more a matter of having fun and playing. And it's saying, oh, what does this button do? Boom. Okay, I think in the grand scheme of things, still a few more minutes left for questions because it's 60 minutes presentation and another 15 for questions. So there, it's still showing. If we turn editing off, it will phase me out when I come back to repair it. With any luck, you should not see the end block. Bingo. Any other questions, please? Good question, Stefan. Yeah, it doesn't. You can add that into custom CSS field if you want, or it does it in the file. That will work in either of those two. But it is dangerous for display none is dangerous. Hence that URL theme switching. So really don't do it on production, or you're going to give some heart attacks. And there is a way around it, but the techies will, yeah. Thank you, Amber. Brilliant. Please do share. Please take a screenshot, put it in the forum on the course.
Right, guys, a last chance while you've got the man here. Any more questions for Gareth? Okay, either they've gone all shy or you've completely flabbergasted them with your code foo, so to speak. Gareth, thank you so
Thank you,
much. That was really enlightening and really great. And judging from the comments in the chat, you know, people found this really useful. Amber's already been able to fix a footer. And as I say, you know, I've got a far better understanding of how theming and code and CSS works in Moodle. That was brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you around iMoot. I'll switch off the recording now and say bye and lots. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all for attending.